first I want to start off, really excited about the class. Obviously got 12. Coach Fick kind of hit a lot of those questions of kind of the strategy and our philosophy now moving forward. Obviously, it's kind of diminished from the last 2 cycles and things of that nature, but even more so, I want to give a shout out and appreciation to like our recruiting and personnel staff. So Ethan couldn't show up today. I mean, he's handling some stuff right now because recruiting obviously never ends. But I want to hit Marissa Pavoni, Taylor, Marissa. I want to hit also Brandon Rose, Isaiah Green May, also Michael Cope, but also Grant Anderson, who kind of handles a lot of the scouting stuff, as well as Bishop Altenberg, who's done an unbelievable job. A lot of tireless hours in the office and having kids on campus. But first and foremost, I'm really excited about the 12 guys that we signed and kind of want to hit on some of those things. Any questions or anything of that nature?
Pat, Luke talked about disciplined financial investment. It sounds like, based on what he said, did you guys have to walk away from certain guys because of that late in this cycle? Is that a fair way to interpret what he was saying?
It's tough with what we do just because with optics and kind of the meaty perception of losing some guys, but there is some strategy behind making sure that we're being smart with the resources that we put into specific guys, just because now more than ever, like, guys, their runway is a little bit shorter than they've ever had in the past. Obviously, we want to be a developmental program and things of that nature, but just with the landscape and things of that nature, like, we have to find guys that can help us. Like, really, we put an emphasis, like, even on some of our skill guys, our big skill of can we envision them helping us early, whether it be on the special teams or finding a role for them early enough. So I think there's a little bit of strategy there on some specific guys that, like, we just got to be smart with where we're putting our resources. So if that makes sense.
Pat, obviously, DJ Baugh was somebody that you guys really kind of had to work at this fall. Why was it so important to get him in that D-line class? How can you make it?
Because I feel like D-line's an area that, like, we need to make sure that we're not missing, and we're getting guys of that caliber that we expect and we think he is. We battled all throughout the year. He's visited a couple places, but I think we did a really good job. Coach Whitlow, Coach Fick, and obviously Coach Tress of just reminding them, staying on them, and finding and making sure that we retain them and keep them to sign there, which we're really excited about.
What about Arthur Scott?
Arthur Scott, interiorly wise, I mean, he's all of freaking 6'5", 305. Like, he has the physique and physicality that we think he can, like, kind of like what we mentioned, a little bit of that too deep possibility. We kind of envision him to be able to, like, really kind of give up some mileage early on just with his skill set and tangibles. So, yeah.
And when you go with the strategy, you're going to be maybe smaller classes, try to invest more in those individual guys. Like, recruiting rankings probably aren't going to go your way just because you're not going to have those size of classes. How do you kind of deal with that? Because that's how the outside world kind of perceives how you guys do your job.
I think it's really just making sure. I think it's a reminder and block out the outside world and realizing, like, we are really excited about this class and the personnel that we brought in. So I think really it's just understanding and being more strict in the positional, needs and sticking to those. So, yeah.
Let's go into the offensive line. Coach Fickle kind of mentioned at the end that you can't really miss now kind of on these prospects.
Yeah.
Developmental position, how do you kind of maybe assess?
I mean, honestly, it's physicality. Like, having some of those traits, measurable wise, of making sure we're really disciplined and strict in what we're looking for. Height, weight, size, wingspan, arm length, of really making sure we're hitting a lot of those things, because those are the guys that tend physicality-wise, and it's showing these last couple of years with some of these guys that are playing early. Like, those are some of the traits that are coming to the fold.
What do you think you have in the corners, like the Elams, Dunmore, those guys?
So we wanted to get speed. So obviously Carson Elams, he was an all-state track kid, 10'8". Donovan Dunmore, and he kind of fits under the physicality-wise, where he's already 195, 6'1". He was a 10'5", like, one guy. So, like, really putting a specific importance in that speed category to make sure that we can cover guys over top. So, but yeah, I would say some of those traits for sure.
Pat, the
Can I
Yeah.
ask you how do you sell an offensive player beyond financial investment? How are you selling him that they can come in here and
I think it's honestly painting a picture of like what really transpired through the season and showing them like obviously we were handling some unfortunate situations with some of our starting positions going down and things of that nature, but then also like really doing a good job with our advanced scouting and finding the right ones where we think they can fit into our schemes and things of that nature. So I think it's a balance with like painting a really good picture of the reasons why, but also an importance of like need specifically and not let us get in that position again. If that makes sense.
With some of his speed and athleticism, how can Jack Severs maybe be a nice weapon for Jeff Grimes and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, he has more of that vertical threat, catching balls out of the backfield with his size. I think is a really great balance of being a true Y instead of like that F position, which is more of a split out guy. I think he really has the frame and size to be able to do a lot of the things inside to hold up and be more dynamic and versatile.
Pat, with Ryan Hopkins' physical tools, just
Yeah.
how important was it to bring him in with this?
I mean, like Coach Fick said, he was in here and talking about like we put a priority on him since day one, and he really knew that, and we're really excited. Obviously, now in today's college football, like we want to go dual threat, but also like not give away that like being able to freaking get the ball down the field with his arm strength and arm talent. We're really excited about the balance and blend that he has, and doing that at a really high level too. So.
Along those lines, what are the challenges in terms of the quarterback position where everyone wants to get better at it, and a guy like Hopkins, obviously, everyone was pretty well aware of?
Yeah, I don't know how to exactly answer that, but I think just like really like making everybody realize like we want you to be a part of the future, and be the change and a part of, and him visualize what like Grimes and Coach Guyton really want to do, and him taking ownership in that and being the guy to take us there. So.
How difficult is it to sometimes evaluate a guy like that when he's throwing to the type of players that he's throwing to?
But I mean, there's also really good guys that he's played against on defensive side of the ball too. So there was a balance there, I think, just with the type of ball that he's going against. But I think it also shows that like he's seeing those weapons that like we want to have too, and being able to do it at a high level. I think that only helps us with him being able to be further along than maybe a more developmental guy. Does that make sense?
When it comes to the state of Wisconsin, you guys have one Wisconsin recruit in this class with Ben. Is there an idea to maybe want to have more on a general basis with the investment?
Yeah, we want Wisconsin to be home, I can kind of allude to Taylor Schaefer did sign today. He's a JUCO kid. Didn't want to really make it about him today, so we have two. Obviously, we took 5 2 years ago, 3 last year, and then we have 2 because we're kind of envisioning he's got like 3 years left, so he's kind of built into that. But we also have 3, can't bring up their names right now, 3 in-state walk-ons that are committed right now. We're still actively communicating with some others that we want to get on board too. So to answer your question, I mean, that has to be a priority for us because it just means more, So we realize that, but also we need to make sure we find the right ones too. So if that makes sense.
Is Schaefer part of the 14, or is he kind of his own category?
He's part of we're categorizing him as a JUCO, but he's more of an in-state with 3 years.
Sure.
On him, so,
But like
yeah.
presumably there'll be 2 more on top of the 12 that don't include him.
Yes, exactly. Yep.
As far as, Wisconsin, a lot of these guys you're getting, they're all inside linebacker types. I guess I'm wondering, is there something about that position in this
Well,
state
I mean,
that-
this is like freaking linebacker U. So there's something to be said about like being able to get the best of the best in that position. But also like we don't want to sacrifice speed and athleticism for length, but we just so happen to be able to get both of them. So really just being able to find, we really specify like length and athleticism, and kind of like the Christian Allegro of the world. Like he was a safety that kind of bumped down. Those are the type of kids that translate physicality wise, because Coach Brady's going to get after him in the weight room and develop them that way. So this guy's looking for guys like that. So.
What was the challenge in that middle month of the season where there's a lot of questions about if Luke and the staff was going to be here?
Yeah, I think it's trusting the process. Obviously, that was a little bit of a battle this year. I'm not going to shy away from that or anything like that. But I know just being with him for a long time, and then obviously having Macintosh on our side and believing in the things that we're doing. I think that was what we needed to really communicate to our top guys to make sure, because obviously that is what we got combated. Because the one thing that's like I get excited about, because like I want other schools trying to come after our guys, because that means they're good players, So I think at the end of the day, like battling and things of that nature, like we just don't want low-hanging fruit, So like we want to get the best of the best, and at times you're going to have to battle against those type of schools, and that's the kind of battles we want to be in. We just got to continue to find ways to win them.
Obviously, a lot fewer walk-ons than you had a couple of years ago. How is that philosophy in terms of identifying that walk-on talent?
I think it's just tougher nowadays because like they have to provide value. So I think we got to make sure we find quality walk-ons that we envision, maybe not the first 2 years, but find ways to get on the field and continue to develop. And honestly, like culture guys that are freaking in the locker room, finding ways to help the program and do anything that is asked. And I think those are more or less what we're looking for.
How many of these dozen did you have to hang on to then at the very end? Because you said
I have the list here, pretty much all of them. So, but I mean that's something that every program in the country deals with. But I think it's the relationships at the end of the day, and finding ways to connect to them and remind them why they chose this place at the end of the day. Because I mean there is a really good product here, and I believe truly that we're only scratching the surface. We just got to freaking some of those little things to put us over the top and get us to where we want to be.
Pat, I know relationships and culture are important to you.
Yeah.
With the different portal window this year, where you can kind of evaluate what you want.
Yeah.
You can look at film.
Yep.
But you're going to, I think, get a speed dating window to know if they fit here.
Yeah.
How tough is that, and how do you worry about guys?
I think we do a really good job in vetting. I mean, we have a lot of strict questions, and we're to the point of like diving into the high school coach or things of that nature to really help us alleviate some of those questions and doubts on specific kids. But I think at the end of the day, you got to be good enough too, and making sure that like you're above the line in a lot of those areas, because we got to get better in a lot of spots too.
As far as Schaefer goes, obviously he was a high school guy here a couple years ago with the JUCO route. As far as his game goes, was there? I don't know how much you guys were aware of him before, but where did he get better that made him the kind of guy you guys?
Physicality wise, he's all 6'3.5. He's bulked up into 235. Like he's physically, ready, with athleticism and he just seems to have a grit to him that like when we had him here, Coach Fick was like in love with. So that was another thing that just like getting him here and really vetting and get a feel for. He fit this place and the type of culture that we're looking for. So.
Safe to assume he'll be here for January, like Coach kept saying?
Yes, yep, exactly. Planning on in January. I think January 12th is when all of our high school kids and we'll see that number of transfers that we end up acquiring. So.
With Keyshawn, just to flip him like you did.
Yeah.
How did the relationship start, and just what makes y'all able to?
Yeah. It felt really COVID-esque. Unfortunately, it kind of almost made me puke. But Coach Reed, had the relationship early on. And then when we obviously had an open spot, kind of fell back to those spots. I think we do a really good job at advanced scout or like senior evaling guys. So I think that's where like we had 5 or so guys that like we were senior evaling, and really like those are the type of guys you're getting, because those junior year you're either stock down or stock up. It's not so bad that you're getting guys, those 5 guys that you're like really excited about. So I would say that's more or less the mindset there, but also into him. So like the weather, the storm after the Minnesota game, he wasn't able to come. So like we had an official visit ready to rock, and he wasn't able to make it. But we set up like a virtual visit for him. It was like he was virtually going through the facility into every meeting and every deal. It kind of, like I said, it went back to, it felt like COVID again with a lot of that virtual stuff that I hope to never have to do it. We'll see.
Is this 15 minutes long as you've been not on your phone in the last 2 weeks?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty crazy right now. Even like Coach Fig more than ever, just with the landscape and things that go on. But yeah, it's tireless, unfortunately. But I love it. I'm gonna have it any other way. So, any questions?
I can ask about Wiggins in terms of talk about
Yeah.
evaluating guys as seniors. I assume
He was a senior eval guy. Obviously, he was committed to other place. I mean, there were a lot of other schools that like we were battling out our high end, guys. But really excited about his explosiveness, like his stick his foot and get vertical. Like he has a home run ability that I think that we really need to find ways to get, in the future. So yeah, really excited about his explosiveness and physique to be able to even gain weight when he gets here too.
Did you actually say fat boy?
He like, and I'm in group text with our commits and stuff. He calls himself fat sometimes. So sometimes I call him fat. What's up, fat? But that's really whatever is best for him. He's awesome dude. So, any other questions?
Do you want him to get fatter?
No. I like him just the way he is, just a little bit stouter and naturally stronger. That'll get him to where he gets here. So, but still have that explosiveness and home run threat that we're excited about. So.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem. I appreciate it. All right.